host, Carlo Cardilli, at a product at Alpharank. Welcome to our discussion on optimizing the production of the online branch in dollars, since that's the only metric that counts. Today, I'm thrilled to have Rachael Garcia, Senior Vice President of Marketing at Sandia Area Federal Credit Union, joining us. Welcome, Rachael.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for those of you who are new to this series of growth marketing podcasts, Alpharank is a guidance system for the online branch. Alpharank keeps your growth activities pointed towards the most dollar output. So make your growth marketing a heat-seeking missile, relentlessly focused on balance sheet production. Any marketing activity you run, whether it's a targeted email, a postcode with QR code, connected TV, Google Ads, whatever it is, Alpharank will tell you exactly how many dollars you've booked from that action, and most importantly, how to get more dollars per action. Our system is trained on over 4 billion first-party data points from over 100 participating banks and credit unions. And from this model, we give recommendations to curb abandonment, improve lead quality, and maximize dollar production. Visit us at alpharank.ai to learn more. So, welcome everyone in the audience today. We want your participation and your questions. You're going to be in listen-only mode at first, so please submit your questions using the Zoom Q&A panel. When we get to the Q&A segment, we will unmute your line so you can ask the question live. We want that real live interaction. Or if you're shy, we'll just read out your question for you. All participants will get a follow-up email from us containing links to the recording and any other info from the discussion. So, many in the industry grapple with the data black hole when tracking the customer journey in the online space. Marketing campaigns, in particular, are notoriously difficult to track and optimize. Most credit unions run multiple external systems for account opening, consumer lending, and home lending, so it's a whole smorgasbord of data that needs to be tracked. And now we're seeing a significant shift from brand marketing to growth marketing, which is why I invited Rachael today. So Rachael, you're a leading expert in growth marketing for credit unions. You've had a progression of marketing roles across various credit unions. I'm excited to hear your insights on how data-driven decision-making can elevate marketing to new heights. So thank you again for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Awesome. It's a great topic. We're going to have fun.
Great. But before we get into it, how about sharing a couple of fun facts about yourself just to round out the personality?
All right. Well, I'm in New Mexico, but I'm not a native New Mexican. I grew up in the Midwest, actually from Indiana.
Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers, yes. I was a college athlete, and so I thought I was going to spend my career in sports marketing, the NBA, the NFL, and but about 5 or so years into my career, I stumbled into the credit union space.
Wow. So Indiana, I got to ask, were you a collegiate basketball player?
Nope. I love basketball, but actually played college softball. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So how did that transition into the credit union space happen from sports marketing?
After I spent some time in the collegiate world doing marketing, I ended up at a private country club. And you know what? Those bankers were always there. And
all the money.
I swear they had every Monday off. So I thought, this sounds like a really great life. I got to figure that out. So, but no, I got to move over to San Antonio, Texas, and fell into security service. It was just a blessing. Yeah, really great.
Yeah, great place. And one of our clients now, Jay Shakuk at Golden One, was a security service doing all your data work for you back there.
And website, yep.
And when you're not working, what's your favorite thing to do outside of work, Rachael?
Yeah, well, my husband and I actually met playing co-ed softball, and 27 years later, here we are. So we still love all sports, football, anything tennis. We just totally enjoyed the Olympics. We love the Netflix documentaries. So we just both thrive on that competitive spirit and the drive. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I love outdoor sports myself. I hope to be as lucky in love as you have been. So with that, speaking of Sandia area, your credit union has $1.2 billion in assets, over 88,000 members, and most importantly, named the top credit union in New Mexico by Forbes magazine. I think the first time was 2023, and you repeated this year, 2024. So you guys are doing great. Yeah, one thing that really stands out about our interactions with Sandia area is that your chief lending officer, Brian Griffith, is an integral participant in the marketing optimization process. So I got to ask you, what's it like to have your internal client? Because essentially everybody works for lending right beside you in
Yeah.
marketing.
Oh gosh. I mean, it's just awesome to have all the C-suite involved and working alongside us, digging into the data and understanding what it's telling us about the customer journey, and just having those overall conversations. So we're all in it for the improvement. No matter what that data is telling us, we're rolling up the sleeves and we're all taking our assignments from that, because not just one department can do it all. So it's just having them right there, eager to participate, understanding how the data is connecting between our advertising and paid media and search and organic, all the way through to the lending app. It's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we see some like really interesting behavior. So you might have an existing member and they see a display ad for a Sandia area mortgage. They start the process and they realize, oh, wait a minute, a mortgage is going to be horrifically expensive given the rates today. So I'm going to be better off building an extension, and then I'm going to go tap, that 6.75% HELOC you've got going on. But that happens to in a different system, and you got to have it tied all that together. And it's interesting. You mentioned, so Brian has a commercial real estate background, and look at your balance sheet, and it's just loaded with vehicle loans, mostly indirect. So is the strategy going to be focusing more on home lending 2024, 2025, now that rates are hopefully on the way down?
Yeah, well, diversifying our entire portfolio is always a strategic plan, not to be heavily reliant on indirect. They play a very important role. And the nemesis of my 24-year career, trying to convert those indirect members into a full service member, which still, I don't, we'd be all kings and queens if we could figure that out. So
queen of the cross sell.
So we want to diversify, and we want to put a lot of time and attention to make those experiences really great for the direct member that finds us through search and our other different marketing tactics. And the rate environment really did make our home equity product super successful. Families could not leave their low interest mortgage loans and get those new, bigger homes. So we capitalized on that through a lot of education efforts. And
I was going to touch on that. I think the issue in general is that, financial products are actually rather complex, and, the sharp end of it is always buried in the fine print. But so how do you give your members this fabulous digital experience while also, supporting, that educational need, so they know what they're getting into, because, you're member owned and not for profit. So you have a greater duty towards the recipient of these financial products.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody consumes information differently. They want short form, long form, email. Some still want paper. We think we can eliminate a channel, and then that channel surprises you. So we spend a lot of time creating content wherever they're at and providing them that option to consume it the way they want. So we utilize everything from social media and blogs and videos and email. I mean, we cover all those channels. It's a lot of work, but it's very trackable now, and it's working. So
talking about working, what I've seen work really well for you, and something that I wish more credit unions and banks would adopt, is having very specific landing pages that are tied to campaigns that are also product specific. So there's no confusion. The person's out there shopping for a particular product. They click, talking about home equity that's really working well for you right now. To see a page specifically about home equity, the call to action is clear, like apply now. Could you share the practicality of implementing the strategy and how it's worked out for you at Sandia area?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about landing pages, and it's so early in the process and the journey, and working in a new system, you get so much data, you can get frozen, you don't know where to start. And we actually worked from the inside out. We actually went down into the application process to see all of the abandons and the loss journeys within every question, because that's the visibility you had opened up to us. And together with all the C-suite, we tackled all those questions, removing questions that didn't even go into consideration for making the decision. So why aren't we asking these questions? So we were able to streamline those applications, streamline those questions. Then we came out to the landing page. Then we took our time to capitalize on how we presented the information, where the buttons were, where the calculators were, where the videos were, optimizing it for all the SEO search terms that consumers were utilizing on a daily basis. Then we came out to the digital and all of the creative messaging to see what was driving. We were super happy with a lot of the traffic, but we were super sad when we saw all the fallout in the application. So we knew we had to start there. So it was really great to just work from the inside out, and which is different. It's a totally different approach in marketing. Usually it's like, well, it's got to be something to do with how we're buying or placing our messaging. And so now when we worked inside out, we were able to make those dollars spend smarter and faster and convert more.
Oh, there's just so much to unpack there. So first of all, you said something very important about the C-suite engagement and buy-in. So I'm gonna put a pin in that and come back to it later. So application first, then the website experience, and then the media strategy, media buy, media placement. So that was your order of operations, which makes perfect sense. You start where abandonment is highest, with those who have the most buying intent. If they're in the home equity application, they're there for a reason. They're not there to catch up on the day's celebrity gossip. They want something from you. It's not couch browsing.
Exactly.
So step one, make it easy for them to complete the process. So since we're talking about this customer journey, media, website, applications, backend, I think it'd be helpful just take a second for you to lay out for our listeners the team and the stack that you're working with. Who's involved externally, internally with advertising, what platforms you're running, what's your website, what's your point of sale, all that kind of stuff for context.
Oh, sure. Okay. We have a full marketing staff internally. So we do all the writing and designing and managing of our website through CU Solutions. So we have a website and SEO specialist who's spending all day, every day on those pages, metadata and tags and optimizing content and working alongside the feedback that we're getting from the lending team. So we have our CLO and our VP of lending interacting on our monthly calls, our weekly calls from ALCO. So we make sure we're always in alignment with our strategy, the needs of the credit union. We have an external agency that's helping us place all those ads out in the trade desk and on Google paid, and as well as optimizing. And they're involved in our monthly meetings and looking into the portal and all the data and watching which URL and UTM and each placed ad is coming in and if it's making any dollars. And then, of course, we have the chief operating officer involved because on the deposit side, I know we talk about lending a lot, but on the deposit side, it's just as important. So we've gone through that entire process from application out.
So that's the other client, right? The deposit side of the equation.
Sure. Yeah. We got the deposit side. And then, of course, we have
first rule of banking, deposits. Yeah. No deposits, no.
No deposits, no loans.
No credit union either.
And then Alpharank for our full funnel analytics. I mean, I've spent my whole career dying to know what's happening after they hit apply now or open now, and now we can see it.
Yeah. And for context, it's MeridianLink portal for deposits, existing members, new members for consumer lending, and member first for home lending, mortgage products. So that's your stack.
Yeah.
So you mentioned working with a marketing agency, and most marketers, typically look for vanity metrics because that's what you can measure easily. Clicks and impressions, which to me are taboo words. Friends don't let friends talk about impressions. Have you been able to work with your marketing agency to get accountability to the bottom line, which is what you get measured on? Because people come to you and say, "Hey, Rachel, where are the deposits? Where are the loans from the online branch? Where are the dollars?"
Right.
So how did you bridge that gap?
Awesome. I mean, just complete inclusion from the beginning, inviting them a part of our monthly calls, training on the portal. How do we all digest this information? Because, of course, with any new system and any new partnership, there's just data coming at you. And everybody in the team that I just explained has expertise in their area. So I spent time really showing the agency and explaining to the agency these full funnel analytics, and that we can't wait anymore for months and months and months to get tracking results and on our campaigns and our ROI and our success. And then at that time, we still don't even know what really was the successful tactic and the successful medium. So, so with that inclusion, spending time together, making stronger decisions, it just continually built trust. We built confidence when they were proposing ideas. And then we were able to prove to the C-suite and even the CEO that we were making stronger, smarter decisions every day, which I knew I'd have to do in the event. I had to go back and maybe ask for some more money. Which I've never done. I've never had to ask for more money.
You're still working the efficiency, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm still working the efficiency of what the data is telling me. So applications are up, and I know what's working. So, but if I do in 2025 need to ask for more money, I have that trust built. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for context, for the listeners, there's really three levels at which marketing agencies can operate. So the most base level, which is unfortunately all too common, is where the agency simply relies on the reports that come from the ad platforms like Meta and the Trade Desk, and they just kind of take that data and put a fancy header on it. But it's still, Meta and Trade Desk gushing about impressions and click-throughs and view-through conversions. But that never answers the CFO's question, like, what has this done for me lately, which is kind of problematic. The next level, they might get a little bit more sophisticated, and they might define something like conversion in Google Analytics. But that's often, how many people just, visited that specific product landing page, still not particularly helpful. A small amount of marketing agencies have figured out how to tag the submit button inside the application. But even that is not accurate, because we know that many times the prospect hits submit, but there's an error on the form, and then they have to go fix that error before the submission can actually go through. So to make it clear for everybody on the audience, the only thing that we count as a submission is when the server at the other end, whether it's MeridianLink, whether it's FI Vision, Origin, Scuttle, MortgageBot, whatever, when that server comes back and says, I actually got it. You gave me everything I needed. The application is in, we're working it, and stay tuned for a response. And then, of course, you have to look at what happens offline. Did your underwriting, like the data, and are they going to approve the application? And then ultimately, is this a booker who's actually going to do business with you and move the money, or was it just a time waster? Because you certainly don't want any of those. So the only thing that matters is like if you're measuring quarterback performance, you're not looking at how many times we threw the ball. You're really looking at how many points to put up on the board. That's the only thing that matters. So how does that conversation go with the management team, your peers at Sandia?
Good. I mean, they pretty much provide back their feedback on a level of unqualified leads, right? Because I got the application. I got them to start the application. Awesome. So we got them converted through the landing page. Now we've got them to complete the full application. They made it through, but now our denial rates have gone up. So now we can have those discussions with the agency on the call, with the marketing team, to say, is there anything we can do to improve our qualified leads and make that ratio a little higher? So that's where they interact and give feedback.
And with lending, because if the market tells you that the demand for personal loans comes from people with a 550 to 600 credit score, and these are your members,
right,
you might need to come up with a product to serve that segment.
That matches, exactly. So,
and the rate might be a little bit higher, but it's still better than sending them to check cashing store or a payday loan kind of place, right?
Yeah. So we have those discussions about the data, the quality of the credit, the products we're offering. Should we follow up with credit repair and education and help those members out, especially if we're putting in placement ads inside online banking and we're targeting our members. That's a really hard pill to swallow, to see the denial rates from our own members. Now, granted, the economy's been hard, inflation's been terrible. People are really starting to tap out, so we have to weigh those conversations appropriately. But we definitely want to drive good leads. We want to turn that funded ratio as high as we can, and keep generating positivity, and this data's giving that to us, right? Yeah, positivity with our brand.
Exactly, and getting those bookers, not lookers. Now, one thing that we noticed in the hundreds of financial institutions that we work with, it's a complex coordination problem. You got to coordinate the media with the landing page, the calls to action, what's actually happening in the loan origination system and the products that are available there. So one thing I've noticed that's come back from our conversations is that you've used this in a sort of interesting and innovative way to detect breakages. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about that, because I think more people could copy that model.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I mean, waiting months for data to see what's working and not working, and try to comb through that and say, well, was that campaign or was it that tactic? So at least on the digital front, and everything that's trackable, from our emails, our planted ads in online banking, to the paid, and we're able to figure it out right away. That data is updated weekly. We're able to see, like, this is green. I mean, it's you guys love it simple. These are hot red and they are not bringing $1. They're not converting. Let's get those dollars and cents out of there and push it to the yellows and greens.
Right.
But it's an ongoing, forever process. You're never going to figure out that perfect.
Right. And it's like you said, if something shows up as red, you got to dig down and figure out, was it the ad? And the people that are brought in, was it the connection that wasn't working, so they're being put in the wrong page? Or, in some cases, the product doesn't exist inside of Meridian links. So it's like, whoa.
Right. And it's not like you can say, well, all those checking ads are red, turn it off. Like, no, we can't turn off the checking ads. We have to find the right target, the profile, the medium, and the symphony of the content and the design and the landing page to make it work. We just can't stop marketing a product because it's not driving. We have to figure out how to convert it.
So when you're looking at 2025, sort of big picture, and where you should be directing your efforts and where you're going to be putting the credit union's dollars, which are really the members' dollars, what stands out for you as a sort of macro trend for the next 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, as we all wait patiently for the feds and for our overall economy, really understanding how divided the media consumption is becoming, from all the streaming and the in-apps and the podcasts, and which is just going to require us to be smarter in our segmentation, smarter in our profiles, finding those buyers, and truly focusing on precision marketing and taking these big approaches and just bringing these profiles and segments down, and finding them that result in the biggest booked and funded loans. So that's where we'll be spending the most of our time.
Terrific. Thank you so much for sharing all this amazing insight into the marketing operations and the functioning of the executive team at Sandia. In fact, we're already getting questions through the Q&A.
All right.
So I think we should just transition to that, so we give the folks who have attended ample time for their questions. So, Josh, I see a question here for somebody who's anonymous, so if you could just share it with us.
Yeah, sure. So the first question is, how do you feel working with an outside marketing agency when there is a solo marketing person at a branch, and is that beneficial?
Okay. So there's a solo person at the branch?
Yeah, it's worded, if you, whomever wrote this, if you don't mind sort of rewording that, but I believe what they're trying to say is that when you have a solo marketing person at a branch, is it beneficial to work with an outside marketing agency?
I see. Yeah. I mean, if you're strapped on the amount of talent you can have inside to help produce all of the strategies that you need to be doing, an agency is really going to be able to help you. Now, it's very expensive, but you can usually go in and really negotiate what they'll do versus your internal person will do. Usually in my past lives, wherever the heavy talent's at. So internally, maybe the newsletters and the statement inserts and taking care of the collateral at the branches and more tangible items. And then that agency comes in to help with digital, radio, television, depending on your budget and depending on your tactics. So it's really just interviewing and building a relationship with an agency so they truly understand you and your credit union and your department and your marketing strategy that supports a strategic strategy, and having those conversations as you need a partner, not a vendor that's going to just charge you $300 or $200 or $150 an hour. I need a partner to help us successfully accomplish this. And let's talk about how that can be done and how much that'll cost and whether it'll be a monthly agreement or an hourly basis or a project basis. I hope that helps. I hope that answered the question. And you can totally get a hold of me offline if you'd like to talk more.
Fantastic. We have a question from Randy Schultz. It's a two-part question. So, Randy, I'm going to unmute you if you'd like to.
Randy Schultz, don't give me anything hard that I can't answer. I think I know who this is.
Oh, no, I would do that. Who are you using for your data analytics and stuff then to build and track all your segments and campaigns and all that good stuff?
We do a lot of it in-house. We have a data team. We're pulling together everything we can from Google and from our media partners. So we have, of course, a lot of radio stations, a lot of TV stations, a lot of print, and they're bringing together segments and data for us. We're utilizing information from USA Data. I mean, yeah. So we're not perfect. It's data.
Pro tip, which we're seeing across, dozens of credit unions. Do not sleep on your local TV affiliate. If you get the right pages, especially what I would think of as the personal finance pages or the, local TV station on your side, or I got this charge in my credit card kind of pages, that can be incredibly valuable. So general site takeover, not that interesting, but those specific sort of topics really resonate with the kind of demographic that is going to be a demographic that you want from a sort of credit quality perspective. So, Randy, you had another question about marketing automation.
Or just who you were using for marketing automation. That was all. Just curious.
Yeah, we're still we're in the hunt for a new marketing automation platform that'll integrate all of the data points from all the systems. We all know that our staff and our credit unions are dealing with 20 plus systems, and they all hold little nuggets of information that we can't get combined. So today we've systematically and manually built data points into our current email system, and then we query and segment off of that. But we're looking forward to a new automation system, a new CRM, and a new platform that'll take us into the next 5 to 15 years. So.
All right. Upgrade coming. Randy, thank you so much. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to try and unmute Laura Chavez.
Thanks, Randy.
Laura, you're live.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Well, I have a few questions, actually. The paid digital is a large part of what our credit union is focused on and has for has been for the last couple of years. And I'm with Farmers Insurance Federal Credit Union, which Carlo is very familiar with. But I wanted to get
Thank you for your business, Laura.
yeah, I wanted to get more information, Rachel, as to what your paid digital budget currently is, and if you have it broken out by product type, whether it's deposits or checking or signature loans, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We run anywhere from 40 to 50,000 a month. It's not that much. That's why this information is allowing us to be so tactical. And yes, I've taken that per deposits in my big, gigantic budget Excel spreadsheet. And so I got all my deposit products and I have my lending products, and they're all listed, and all the dollar amounts every month pertaining to the buying cycle, seasonality, campaigns. So we set the course for the year, and every month we're just moving those dollars and optimizing them by product, depending on everything I just mentioned, the seasonality, or if we're having a special personal loan campaign, we have so many dollars, but now it's the personal loan campaign. So we're driving those dollars up and bringing maybe some of the dollars off of mortgage and home equity to fund that. So it's not like we're just constantly dumping new funds. We're throttling all those product lines every month.
Got it. And so is the focus on current, are you targeting current members, or is it both, getting in a new member with whatever the product is that you're trying to get?
Yeah, paid is completely acquisition of new members, but
okay,
they're gonna see it, right? Because our current members fall into those profiles and segments, and may be on the Weather Channel or ESPN, which I go to multiple times a day, of course, because that's my favorite thing. And so they're going to see those ads. Our current member strategy is emails, because we can send those for like a penny. Online banking,
right?
The e-statement, portal sign-in. So anywhere digitally our members are interacting, we're capitalizing on all those free channels. And taking a lot of that same creative and then tagging them with different UTMs, driving them to either the same or different landing pages. And then all of that is picked up, and we're able to say, look what online banking is driving. Look at what email is driving, which at some points, there's many times we said, why don't we just get a second email person and do double email? Would that create 4 times the sales? Because email's so great,
so cheap,
and so cheap, and that it's just always driven a positive outcome, because those members are so engaged with us and they appreciate the offer, and so super
and
cool.
So you mentioned having a full marketing staff. How is that broken out between all of the different mediums that you're in?
Yeah, so we have
Rachel's Army.
Yeah, great questions. I love it. An email specialist, so totally focused on email and data and segmentation and all the queries. That's the only person that doesn't really fall into creating content for all the other mediums. We have a digital specialist who's creating all the online ads. So whether that's for the paid, the online banking, mobile banking, inside our statements and e-statement platforms. And that person also creates all digital creation for TV, our digital TVs in the branches, and any corporate videos we want to do in-house from announcements and the CEO. The website specialist is also a website content specialist. So taking care of all the website and building all the pages and optimizing all the content, but writing as well. And that writing can be used for website, social media, radio, anything. So a content creator is a content creator. So we can ask for long form, short form, social media. So we have a marketing specialist that takes the lead on all things social media, but also is a content creator. So can create and design anything. And cross those mediums. And then our brand manager over that team is also a content and a designer. So those positions that we hire outside of email have specialties that their content and creative can be used in any medium. And then we have community and events. And then we have an operations guru who keeps us alive, keeps all the traffic flowing right out to the different mediums. So
Wonderful.
Got it.
Laura,
Thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you
you're
for
welcome.
joining us, and thank you for those amazing
yeah,
questions.
thank you. Reach out anytime.
All right.
got-
We
Mhm.
go meet Josh. We have some more coming in.
Yeah.
I have to push the extend button a little bit here.
Yeah, all good. What are you including with your digital marketing budget? You kind of mentioned it, but just to dive in deeper, they're asking like paid search, paid social, YouTube, or are you also including streaming, OTT, CTV, etc.?
Yeah, that's a totally different budget. Yeah, my streaming and OTT is a budget that's over here with television. And so it's nice to have a full digital, but in there is pre-roll, YouTube, programmatic. So all programmatic throughout all the great wide web. So, but OTT over here, is another hyper focus that we'll be looking at 2025, because it's just even our news outlets are saying, just last month, hey, 80% of all of our news is being consumed on OTT. I'm like, then why are you keep selling me on broadcast? We need to move those dollars, and we need to start being flexible and pushing into OTT. So so it's going to be interesting 2025, looking for the podcasts and the streaming radio, and consumers are just in so many different mediums, and we have to be diversified in all those areas. So, and
Yeah, talking about podcasts, one of the creators I work with has had tremendous success. I cannot mention the podcast because that'd be giving away their secret sauce. But they've found 2 podcasts that are really focused around personal finance. And just getting your house in order from a sort of personal finance perspective, and we're seeing the traffic coming off of that podcast into their funnel, through their funnel into approvals has been quite amazing. And clearly, people who are tuning into a personal finance podcast, are probably the kind of people that you want inside the credit union, because their objective is to have healthy financial lives.
We were just having that conversation in our, impromptu brainstorming session that usually most marketing departments have. And everybody that works for me is like 35, 33 and under. And they're like, well, we're not listening to finance. We're listening to all the murder podcasts. I was like, okay, then, we need to go where they are.
Right.
I do love myself some Dateline and some murder stuff, but to think, hey, we're financial, we should be in financial. It doesn't. There's not that straight line, right? Like we think there is. This is us. This is the podcast that we match, and consumers will listen, and then they'll buy. No, they won't. They're going to go all around and make lots.
You can't corral them. People just bounce around.
But it's going to be fun and interesting. That's the cool part, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Consumers won't stop surprising us. So, all right.
Well, amazing. So, Rachel, it's time for some closing comments. So before we wrap up today, what are your top tips for the folks that are joining us today?
Awesome. You don't have to take it alone. Don't think that, if you're able to get more data in your hands, that you have to be a complete data scientist and a data nerd. I'm not. I like it. I don't have total time to be in it. So bring in others, and be inclusive in the conversation so that you can learn and grow, and they're going to be more interested in then what you're doing on the creative side. And so I think that's probably the biggest tip is when you get a new system, don't feel like you have to do it all by yourself. You have to know everything, pull together a team, and that's going to be the strength,
Amazing.
Oh,
Well, Rachel, you've been so gracious with your time. We're all so grateful for all the insights and just a pure unbridled energy that you shared with us today. So thank you. And, I'll say goodbye to you. I will talk to you soon. And
Take care.
goodbye to
Good
everybody
luck.
who joined us today on the webinar. Bye-bye.
bye.